So today we have Milad, the co-founder and company organizer of the Afternoon Umbrella Friends, joining us to talk about all the best practices for hosting a live streamed event. We've been receiving a lot of requests and inquiries from our promoters about virtual event planning, especially now with COVID-19, placing all in-person events on pause for the time being. So thanks for joining us today. Why don't we start with just like a brief introduction of who you are, your company, the Afternoon Umbrella Friends, the events you've been putting on, specifically the virtual events you've been doing throughout COVID.
Yeah, totally. Just introduce myself. My name is Milad. I am one of the co-founders of the Afternoon Umbrella Friends. If you don't know who we are, we're like this fun-loving community in San Diego that we kind of double as an event production company. But we really just started out as a group of friends. And our last event was our music festival that we do called Umbrella Weekend. It actually took place the weekend right before everything got shut down. So that was kind of crazy. At that point, we had never done a live stream before. And we were just kind of thrown into like this new world where, you know, we can't do parties anymore. So it took us a while to really like take it seriously because we didn't know how long it was going to be. Like, I didn't know how much energy I wanted to invest in something I didn't know how long we'd be doing it for. But after a while, it became pretty clear we'd be doing it for a while. So we've taken a lot of time, done a lot of experimentation to get our operation going pretty good when it comes to live streaming. And it's been really fun. It's been challenging, but
yeah,
a lot.
Cool. Okay. So I guess the next question I have that we also get a lot is just like when you first start out, what's like the basic equipment you would recommend? Like what's necessary for hosting a live streamed event, or not so much necessary, but good to have for like a good quality stream?
Totally. So if you're going to stream, there's like a minimum baseline of quality that you absolutely need to achieve in order to make it so that your stream can be enjoyable for the viewer. Like if they show up and you're just using like your cell phone to stream, like capturing the audio coming out of like the speakers with like the microphone and like using like your phone video and don't have an overlay, it's not going to look very professional, and your viewers really aren't going to want to stick around. Just because there's so many options right now that are checking all the boxes when it comes to quality. So the three main like technical attributes that I use to measure the quality of the stream are the video quality, the sound quality, and then your internet connection. I can talk about the equipment you need to make sure all those meet that like baseline.
Okay.
And is all provided that you sit, like we do DJ events. Others might be doing like live music, but provided you have all that equipment already that you usually have to like produce normal events,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you need to do a stream, you can get a pretty solid setup for relatively cheap, which is nice. For video quality, first thing obviously is like your camera. Most computers, they have a camera built in, but I don't recommend using it just because it makes it really hard to use your computer while you're streaming. But I know people who do it and stream to like hundreds of people and they get away with it. So like you can do it. Like the MacBook, if you have a MacBook, like the webcam actually is pretty good quality compared to like external cameras. But just because of the fact that it's like on your computer and you probably want to use your computer while you're streaming, I don't recommend it. You can also get like a USB webcam. Like get something that's HD. I would recommend something by a brand name like Logitech or someone, and you can get a pretty decent picture. That's definitely good enough for like stream. But I think video quality is definitely the place where you can spend more money and get the best return on like increasing your quality. So my partner, Carlos, he has a DSLR camera, and he uses he just uses for photography. And we're able to take advantage of that by using a HDMI capture device. So what the HDMI capture device, what it does is it lets you take the output of the camera and turn it into a digital signal that you can use in your live streams. Most cameras don't have that built in. So if you get an HDMI capture device, the brand that we use is called CamLink. There's a bunch of other ones that you could look up, but without something like a CamLink, we wouldn't be able, that camera wouldn't be compatible with the computer, to just directly wire in the video output. So if you have access to a nice camera, highly recommend getting a CamLink or something like that you can make it so you can live stream your camera footage into your live stream. Regardless of what type of camera you're using, the lighting is really important. Just make sure that your subject is well lit. We mounted our lights onto the roof, somewhere high up, so it doesn't blind the subject. You can get crazy with it. You can do colors. You can do white light. Depends on what kind of aesthetic you're going for, but just lighting is important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, lighting is really important.
Yeah.
Cool.
The next up is the audio quality. Last thing you want to do, this is the biggest mistake I see people do, is when you log onto their stream, it just doesn't sound
good.
It doesn't sound right, because a lot of times they're just using the camera to record what's coming out of their speakers and putting that into the stream. You do not want to do that. What you want to do is get an audio interface. So that's this pretty much the same thing as the HDMI capture device, but for audio. So it takes the output of your mixer or whatever instrument you're using and converts it to a digital signal. So then when the viewer hears it, it sounds exactly the same as when you're playing it. It's the pure, unfiltered audio. So you absolutely must do it like that. Otherwise, people like me are just going to tune in and be like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
I mean, especially for music and DJ events, I feel like audio has to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if you have that, then that opens up, say you want to use a microphone. We just plug the microphone into our mixer, because everything coming out of our mixer is coming in at perfect quality. So I'm not super well versed in microphones myself, but we just use a standard one for talking, and for if we wanted to record live instruments, that's a whole other thing. But yeah. And then the last thing is the internet connection. So if you don't have a good quality internet connection, it's kind of a waste. All your hard work is just going to waste, because it'll just end up choppy and inconsistent. And that just affects everybody. I personally have the highest speed that I can get in my area, and I still wish I could get a faster one. So if you're in that situation, you need to make sure you get every single last bit of every mile you can get out of your connection. So that means don't use Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is just slower than if you had a direct cable from your computer to your modem.
I wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah, so when you go over Wi-Fi, it's not I don't know what percentage difference is, but there is a percentage that you're losing just by not having it direct wired. So if your computer doesn't have a Ethernet input built in, they have USB to Ethernet converters for super cheap on Amazon or any electronics store. So make sure you do that, and that'll you can only do so much if you don't have a fast internet connection at your house. But that's one thing that you can do to help with that.
Okay, cool. I mean, I feel like that kind of answered my next question. If there's any extra little items that you might want to have on you, not as big as the equipment and audio, but extra batteries or cables or cords?
Yeah. I mean, we have at least 2 of everything, but more important than having extra stuff, I want to stress the importance of like testing things out ahead of time.
Yeah.
You got to get your whole setup. If you're not doing it super often, like get your whole setup tested the day before. So in case anything goes wrong, you have like a whole day to debug and figure out whatever additional like gear you might need. Say one of your cables isn't working, you need a replacement. The worst thing is realizing you can't stream to the best of your ability because you just weren't prepared. And like, you know what you need, but it's time to go and you don't have it like right at that moment.
Yeah. How often or how many tests do you guys do before like a big show? Probably a ton.
Well, so we're like, I've gotten to the point where our setup is now, it never gets unplugged.
Yeah.
So, we will test it. We don't go not as extensively as we did before. We used to like test it the night before. Ours is like at this point, it's like pretty battle tested, and we've gotten most of the kinks like ironed out. That's not to say like things never go wrong, but if we have a really big one, then we'll fire it up like an hour or 2 before.
Yeah.
Make sure it's good. But yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a pretty neat setup. I mean, I streamed into your guys' last event. It was pretty cool.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, it was cool. So the other common question we get is what sophomore should they be using for live streamed events? And I know you kind of like, I mean, you went over like the cameras and stuff, but is there a specific software that you guys use?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple different things we use in combination with each other. So first is the platform you stream on. We use Twitch as like our main platform. If it was originally intended for gaming, but the music category on there has taken a life of its own. Twitch is just like really fun. They kind of designed it as if it was a video game. There's like all these little features that keep your community engaged, like all these little points they give you, and like emotes, and like they kind of make it a game in terms of like donating and stuff. So it gives us like this like fun atmosphere that like encourages people to contribute to like whatever cause you're raising money for. So we really like Twitch. There's other ones. You can stream on Facebook, you can stream on YouTube.
A bunch.
Yeah, there's tons. But we use Twitch.
Cool.
Yeah, and then broadcasting software, that's like the next layer down. So the standard is OBS Live. That's completely free software. It's actually really amazing that they offer that for free. I don't think it pretty much has opened up the ability to run a TV show like from like just for free. Like this type of software used to be really expensive, and when since live streaming has gotten so big recently, they made this like super accessible one. So what it does is it gives you everything you need to collect your video, audio inputs, let you put an overlay on. If you don't know what the overlay is, it's just any words or graphics that go on top of the stream. Like say you're on like NBC or CNN and you see their logo at the bottom, like that's their overlay. So we do the same thing for our live streams. We put our logo, we put the DJ name, we put the name of the event. And then with OBS Live, you can stream to any platform you desire. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's very robust software. So highly recommend you use that. There's some alternative OBS software. Like there's like Streamlabs OBS. That one, it has a bunch of like cool extra features, but I've noticed that the performance is not as good. And most of that functionality you can get from Streamlabs. I'm going to talk about that right after this. you can get that in OBS Live with like these extendable widgets. So I recommend stick to OBS Live because it's free and it performs better than the other free alternatives.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then speaking of Streamlabs that I just brought up, so even though I don't think you should use their OBS software, I recommend you use the other things that they offer. So what it is, it integrates with Twitch, Facebook, and I think YouTube. So if you sign in with your Twitch account, they give you all this like cool functionality. Like they have this page where you can, every account, they'll give you a page where you can collect donations. So we just put the link in our stream and we say like we're raising money. Last weekend we raised money for the wildfires. So we said like donate to the wildfires at this link. And then they'll give you like a little widget, like a little bar that shows you how much donations you've received. They have other ones like show you how many followers, subscribers you have. They'll give you little alerts that you can, like say someone donates, it'll pop up on your stream. And they have just all these like, all these little widgets that give your stream like another level of interactivity, which is really fun because the best thing about the streams is like that you're interacting with like it's not just something that it's not like a TV show where you're just broadcasting and they're watching. The good streams, you interact with your users and like give them a chance to affect what's going on
and be engaged. Yeah, that's super important.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people forget about that because they're streaming now, so they focus on that, but they forget like, okay, it's still an event. So they have to remember like, how can we get them involved more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Labs is really cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since we're talking about like getting people involved, how do you guys, like speaking of like the promotional like side of things, marketing, like what's your like go-to way to like market the event or since it's like a live stream, how do you guys kind of prepare people for that or like introduce them, or do you have to give them instructions on like where to go or like what's the best practices for that, especially for like audiences that aren't used to like live events and this is their first time?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I can tell you how we do it. I don't know if so our approach goes back to when we threw our club events, which is we primarily use Facebook and Instagram as our promotional tools. We have a good following on both platforms. Every event that we do, that we did before was on Facebook events, and we do the same thing for our live streams. We don't do like a regular event. Like every single one we do is like a unique experience with like different curation, different artists. So we treat them as if it was like a normal event. We promote on Facebook and Instagram, and that allows our community to know what we're up to because we built a following there. But when I look at my Twitch's metrics, they have a page where they go really into depth about like where your viewers are coming from. Whether they're coming like from inside of Twitch or from external websites. I actually see that the majority of people navigate to our stream directly through the Twitch app. And so for that reason, it's really important that you build up a follower base on whatever platform you're using, because when you go live on Twitch, for example, your followers will get notified. So I think it's more of like a conversion, like it's like initially we needed to convert our original like follower base into Twitch users. But now that people are on Twitch, the majority of people are like finding us now through Twitch, which is pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Was unexpected.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And then going back to your live events, like when I saw the last one you put on, you guys had pretty cool like decorations and backgrounds. So I wanted to ask if like, are there any like cool like green screens or features that people should try or that you guys use for your backgrounds and events, or like any advice for stage decorations?
Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right. Going back to our events, like that's one of the things that always set us apart was that we have a really talented team of our like event designers. My friend Megan, she's like the mastermind behind just making our events look beautiful. And so our team, we have a lot of people who can craft really gorgeous sets for our bigger live stream productions. So I'm not an expert at that myself, but I fully understand like having a beautiful set just makes such a difference. Cannot be understated. So if you find someone with that skill set, like you should try and find someone with that skill set, set up your camera so they can see the frame, like set it up exactly how it's going to be, try and get your lighting, maybe even get your overlay, and then you can design your set to maximize that little space that you have. So like your fabrics, getting props in the mix, and then how it interacts with the lighting, all of that is like of prime importance.
Yeah, because it's gonna it's another way for people to engage if you think about it. Like instead of just looking at like, oh, a plain wall, they have something to look at, and like get in the mood. And I felt like it represented your guys' event really well. Like it tied it together. It was great branding. So just, yeah, I would say just don't do a plain backdrop.
Yeah, not do a plain wall. I hate it. I get into a stream and it's just a plain wall, and like it's just not enough effort for me.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I just remember like that was one thing I was like, that's a cool set.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely helps with engagement.
But we live stream so much though that I can't always get someone to come set up every time. And in that situation, the green screen is an extremely useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get one that's bigger than the size you think you need. I've already bought a second one because the first one I realized is just slightly too big.
Yeah.
And we only set the camera up a single, like you just don't want to be restricted in your camera angle.
Yeah.
So figure out how big you need and then just go the next size up, just to be safe. And
then, you can get that on Amazon. They have a bunch of green screens, I think.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then when you use the green screen, you need to use ample amounts of white light in order to brighten it up. If you don't, you're going to get these weird like little ripples and dark patches in the video that won't look too great and will kind of break the immersion. Say you're like you're showing like drone footage of like the ocean, and then all of a sudden you see like these little weird lines popping in. It's like, it's a green screen. They're not actually flying in the sky right now.
Yeah.
So, the way that it works, the green screen is that you can put a filter on the video, on your video layer inside of OBS, and the filter is called a chroma key. And so what a chroma key does is allows you to select a color that it will take that color and turn everything that is like close to that color into just transparent. So you can actually do other colors other than green, but I think green is just the standard because it might be like the lead, like I'm not 100% sure why green is the standard. I feel like maybe it's because maybe people don't use green as much as the other colors.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've actually used that for a video before, and I've done it with a blue one, and that one worked. But green is typically the standard.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I'm curious. There must be some. They must have figured out what color would be just the most optimal to. Because then, if you wear like a green, you wear like a green shirt, then like your shirt will become transparent. Or like my friend Kale, she has green hair, so the tips of her hair just like disappear. But yeah, so the chroma key, and then after you make that transparent, then you can put anything behind it. You can put crazy videos, you can put just like colors, you can put visuals, and there's so many possibilities. It's really fun to play around with.
Yeah. I mean, why not? It's super easy. They're not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah, you get a lot of feedback for sure.
Yeah. Okay, this one is really important. This question, we also get this one a bunch. Jumping from different performers. I think though for yours, you guys actually have people on set. Like you don't really like to.
We do. We do both.
Okay.
The reason, okay, so yeah, we had an event not last weekend, but 2 weekends ago where we must have had 30 performers over 2 days. I think it was maybe like 36 performers over 2 days, which is crazy. And about half of them were at my house throughout, and the other half were from, I think, 6 other places.
That's so cool.
And that used to be something we didn't know how to do, but we've managed to figure it out.
Yeah.
The first step is you need to communicate all of your expectations to your offsite performers with regards to all the things we discussed earlier, like the audio, video, and internet quality, as well as like making sure it's well decorated, because that is one reason like a lot of people prefer to just keep everything in one place, is because you can't control the quality as much. So that's really important, but we don't want to just like restrict it to be only in one place. Like we want to open it up, but that makes it really important to communicate that, all that stuff ahead of time, and test out, you can run tests with them. After a while, like once I know someone can do it, I'm like, okay, I know you know how this works now, so we're good. But it took a while to build up to like have
that trust.
Have that trust with people. Yeah. If it's like a first time thing, we try and test it out ahead of time. Sometimes we don't, and then that'll lead to like once someone was videotaping their speakers and like recording it with the microphone, and then I'm like, oh man.
Oh.
So we go through the checklist real quickly with everyone, make sure they're hitting all the boxes. So once you have that figured out, then what we tell them is like, you just stream. We tell them to stream to a Twitch channel, like a new Twitch channel that no one is watching, like has no followers, and just do it with no overlay, no nothing, just audio, video. Start it like 15 minutes before your set and like get it going, start practicing, play some tracks. And then we handle everything else from there. So what we do is we have a external monitor, and we pull up their channel on that monitor. And then when the time comes, we do a display capture, OBS. So what that does is it takes the whole image of that monitor, and we capture the video, and we broadcast that through OBS. Like we're literally taking their stream and then putting it into our OBS and restreaming it again. Wow. And so there's a slight, there's like slight loss in quality when you do that, but it's unavoidable if you're going to do it live.
Yeah.
So that's how we do that, and then that's for the video. Then for the audio, it's different if you're on Mac or Windows. Windows has this feature built in where you can just set in OBS. You can pick the desktop audio, which means any audio that's playing out of your computer, you can capture it and put it and broadcast that. So you just like turn the volume up on Twitch, and your computer will literally be making the sound, and then you can put it into your stream. For Mac, it's not built in, so you have to download something. It's called I Show You Audio Capture. It's spelled ISHOWU, like the letter U. I Show You Audio Capture. I I won't go too much in detail of how that works, but you will need that software or something similar. I don't know about the alternatives, and there's tons of tutorials online, but I can send you the name of that so you can include it.
Yeah, I'm going to be linking a bunch of stuff because you've provided so much, which is awesome.
Yeah. So that'll be necessary on MacBooks or on any kind of Mac computer. And make sure whenever you do this, you need to make sure you mute your computer's notifications. Otherwise, your viewers will be hearing little like face sounds from your Facebook. Like that happens sometimes. Be like, I hear Facebook noises, and then they're like, and then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to forgot to mute it. Yeah. Like beep, boop, like it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's definitely hard to manage multiple locations, but it's really important to make sure your event goes smoothly and it has like a consistent experience, because we manage everything on our end, that means we can also control the overlay. Like we change the DJ name in the front, like that's in the front. We have the same overlay going the whole time. So even though the video is changing, the stream still has a consistent feel. Some people will just like literally turn their stream off and have the other person stream from their end, and that like makes like a little break in time, and also the experience is just different. Like they'll never like have it set up exactly the same way, and it kind of like breaks the immersion a little bit. So and
if someone's like just tuning in too and they happen to tune in once you guys switch it and like your branding's not there, I would be confused.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work, but there's a lot of benefit.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since, we can't go out or do anything. So I'm sure everyone really looks forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And then my last question, pretty basic, just if you have, you covered so much. So if you had any like other like a random tip to tell people live streaming an event for the first time, but you covered everything.
Yeah, I have like another tip, or like advice, I guess.
Yeah.
It definitely sucks that we can't throw events right now. It's really hard for everyone in the events industry to just have to stay home during these times. Mm-hmm. But it's also like opportunity. This opportunity to figure out new ways to interact with our communities. We've had the opportunity to connect with so many of our friends through these live streams. And we've actually made a lot of new connections as well. Like we're building up like a second following almost, that we didn't have before. And like nothing will ever be the same as like hanging out in person, but I'm realizing the same can be said about doing a live stream. Like it's been really challenging, but also like a fun and unique experience running all these events from my living room. And when the time comes to go back to doing live events, I'll probably miss doing live streams a little bit.
Yeah, and it's cool is like you're reaching like an audience that you wouldn't have been able to reach before in different states or like out of the country and stuff. So you're really expanding, which it's cool. Yeah, it made us relearn how to connect with other people and get really creative when doing it. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's important to just stay active during these times. I'm thinking, I like kind of think about it as like staying in shape, like if you're just not doing anything right now, I think it'll be hard to get going again once we can throw those in-person events. So it's like kind of like staying in shape as a event production company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, you guys are doing an awesome job. Do you have any like upcoming events? I'm sure you have a bunch.
Yeah, we have one. We have we're settling in on like every Saturday schedule. This weekend we're doing Nocturne It's a local techno collective.
Cool.
Doing like a techno night. We have Ben and On from Moonshine playing. Then the week after that, we're doing like a Fresh Faces type thing. We're going to do like all new talent we've never booked before. And just every Saturday,
Okay.
we're going to do something big on Halloween. We're going to do like our Spoopy Soiree. That's our yearly Halloween event. It's going to be a live stream this year. So yeah, just every Saturday on our channel. We're the Afternoon Umbrella Friends, but our Twitch channel is Umbrella Friends TV.
Okay.
So,
and I'll definitely link that too, so everyone knows where to find all this information about you guys and your cool events, how to tune in. So, but yeah, thanks for sitting down and doing that. I really appreciate it. I know our promoters are definitely going to appreciate all the information because, I mean, we're new to it too, and you guys are way more experienced than we are. So,
absolutely. Glad I could help.
Yeah. So thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.